Coach, short turnaround for you guys this week. Anything different about your preparation or how you get ready for this game?
Well, we don't have as much time. We've had 2 consecutive weeks where we had a week between games and had some adequate practice time and some rest time. Some of that's in the midst of finals. So traveling back from Vegas on Sunday and having that day off, there's a lot that needs to be discussed and gone over today in practice. It's not like we have a disadvantage because you've got South Dakota State's coming off of 3 games in 3 nights, playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so they're somewhat in the same position, and that's it's something we're a little bit used to from our tournament. And then we had that stretch of games where we were packing them in, so it's a little bit different than maybe what just happened recently, but it's nothing new as it happened earlier in the preseason.
You talked about guys, maybe the younger guys getting a little ground down. Obviously holidays right after this. Are you at all extra concerned about the focus? Maybe guys are just trying to get this game behind them.
But I don't think that's going to be an issue. For us, this is the end of a phase for us. We break it into some categories with our preseason, and we discussed that Saturday night after the game. That this is a tough stretch of games. I think people want to talk about Wichita State and BYU and Kansas and UNLV, but you can throw South Dakota State right in that mix, being a team that's 9-3, and it's a really good basketball team. So, maybe not the name that some people would associate with those other teams, but we're going to have our hands full, and our guys will get that impression by the time we're done watching some film and breaking down what it is they do. Real strong team in a lot of different facets. So we're going to have our hands full, and I discussed that Saturday that, when that game's over with, that's when we can start thinking about Christmas. But there's a significant amount of work yet to be done.
And Larry, looking at the bigger picture and going back to those 5 games against teams with a higher RPI, how's that prepared you for conference play, and the fact that 4 of them were basically on the road and such? I mean, it had to be educational or beneficial in some way.
Well, it's the reality. Dirk, I think you want to be careful about saying, "Oh, we're ready for league play," because it's still very much a grind on a daily basis. But we experience some pretty raucous, road environments, and some of that you hope that you can reach back at some point and lean on when you're in that position. But until we're there, we don't know if it helped us or not. That's kind of the plan. And I said all along, if this preseason schedule doesn't kill us, hopefully it's only going to make you stronger at some point. But still, you have to get ready to perform. But I think our team figured out some things. They're communicating a lot better. We've got a little bit more poise, and at the end of the day, you hope that you're better off for it. So that's we saw a number of different environments and different styles with our preseason, and this next team presents South Dakota State as a really well-coached, emotion, ball movement kind of team that we haven't seen. They're a patient team and have a lot of pieces to the puzzle. They know their roles, and so that's going to be a little bit new for us too. We've got to get some things accomplished in practice. As we talk about finishing this preseason, it's a different style than what we've seen recently, and we've got to be ready for that pitch.
Generally, please, I know you want to win every game, but the fact that, jumping back to those 5 games again, that you went 3-2 and were in position to win the other 2.
I'm sorry, what
with those 5 games,
yeah.
The Wichita's and that, are you generally pleased with how things went? You went 3-2 and were in position to win the other 2 ball games?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 sides to that for me. I'm always like the glass is half empty, right? That's my nature is to not be pleased with it. But then I always have to flash back to, not to the future, but to previous times when we were sitting around in the summer putting our schedule together. The reality is, if you would have said, hey, with these 5 teams, you're going to go 3-2, would you hit that deal button? And I would say, yeah. So there's a certain amount of satisfaction in having pulled that off, but at the same time, you always want a little bit more, you know, and you know you're close in both of those other games. But before I really start breaking down the preseason and reflecting on it, as I said, there's one more game that's part of that. It really went from maybe what was expected to be 5 teams that were going to be a real challenge to all of a sudden we've added a 6th to the mix. And so I've got a lot of respect for what they do, and you know, be happy to kind of break down my thoughts maybe a little bit more on our preseason when we can get through Tuesday night.